Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is a masterpiece. It made me realize 4 surprising lessons for all dungeon masters. You don't need a complicated plot to have a fun and exciting game. You might be thinking, hey, the more complex the plot, the better, right? Well, in the realm of books, shows and movies, it's mostly true. Writers use intricate plot lines as a hook to reel us in. They need to keep surprising us often to keep us interested. But video games and tabletop RPGs like D&D are a different breed. They are fully interactive. Players get to immerse themselves in the world, influence the story, and take charge of their characters' fates. The very nature of this interactivity inherently boosts engagement, even without the crutch of a convoluted story. The plot can be as simple as save the princess, because the fun comes from the player's decisions and the journey itself. Even if your campaign starts with a linear, straightforward plot, your players are likely to spice things up with their choices. That's the beauty of tabletop RPGs. They might befriend a villain or hyper-focus on some throwaway random encounter, inspiring you to improvise an entire subplot around it. Just like that, your simple story evolves into a complex narrative organically and in the most exciting way possible. Don't stress over coming up with a complex plot for your next session. Instead, focus on crafting a game that encourages interaction and allow the plot to unfold naturally in its own unique way. If you want the players to explore the world, don't set it on fire. It's a classic, right? The world is on the brink of disaster and only the party can save it. We've seen this time of plot time and again in movies, novels, and video games. Lord of the Rings, Mass Effect, and Final Fantasy are just a few examples. Sure, it's a gripping premise, but it has some unexpected consequences. Let's call it ticking clock syndrome. When you start your campaign with an imminent doom scenario, you risk pushing your players into speedrun mode. They might feel compelled to rush through the main quest line, overlooking side quests, ignoring the rich lore of your world, and missing out on all the fun detours that make D&D campaigns memorable. But fear not, there is a simple workaround. If your heart is set on a world-ending plot, just wrap it in a blanket of mystery. Instead of announcing the apocalypse from the get-go, drop subtle hints and clues that something isn't quite right. This will inspire curiosity and motivate your players to explore as they try to piece together the puzzle and uncover the real threat. They will have fun delving into your world, interacting with NPCs, and gradually uncovering the larger narrative you've prepared. When your campaign is well underway and you decide to reveal the world-ending threat in its terrifying glory, make sure you also provide a generous timeline. This will let your players balance the focus between the main threat and those exciting side quests which could provide vital resources or allies for the final showdown. So, let the players explore the world at their own pace and only reveal the true scope of the threat when you're ready to enter into the end game of the campaign. Puzzles should be fun and engaging. They don't need to be hard. When we talk about puzzle design in gaming, Zelda is a masterclass. Not all puzzles in Tears of the Kingdom are super hard. This might sound counterintuitive, but it's actually one of the keys to the game's success. Puzzles are about striking a balance, challenge the players, but also allow them to progress and feel the satisfaction of solving them. In addition, Zelda allows for some unexpected solutions. By using Link's powers and the game's robust device building system, players can come up with creative solutions not foreseen by the game's designers. Now, how does this translate to D&D? As dungeon masters, we sometimes lose sight of the real goal behind designing puzzles. You know, fun. It's not about trapping the players in a brain teaser that leaves them scratching their heads for hours. That's just frustrating, and frustration is the killer of fun. A puzzle that's too easy is infinitely better than a puzzle that's too hard. At its worst, an easy puzzle will be quickly overcome and will remain forgettable. In comparison, a hard puzzle can completely ruin the game session, with players growing bored and disengaged. The beauty of tabletop RPGs is flexibility. ambiguity. Make sure you embrace it. Accept unexpected solutions to your puzzle, as long as they make sense to the players around the table. This can lead to incredible moments of creative problem solving that your players will remember for a long time. Lastly, don't let your players get bogged down with a puzzle for too long. If they're stuck, give them hints and nudge them along. If everything else fails, have a monster smash through the puzzle and make it into a combat encounter. Keep the game moving, or lose your players to boredom. Use treasure to draw your players into exploring the world. As I adventured through Hyrule, I found myself constantly distracted by mysterious points in the distance. It felt like the game was whispering, "Hey, come check this out." Tears of the Kingdom is exceptional at rewarding exploration. From the very beginning, the game taught me that each cave, shrine, and dungeon housed something valuable, a useful treasure that will aid in my journey. Now, let's translate this to your D&D campaign. If you want your players to thoroughly explore your meticulously crafted world, sprinkle it with the allure of treasure. Feed them rumors in the tavern, leave hints in ancient scrolls, and let your NPCs whisper about hidden riches and powerful artifacts. You'd be surprised how quickly your players will set off to investigate that haunted forest or delve into the depths of a forgotten temple when there's potential loot involved. But remember, treasure doesn't always have to be a sack of gold. It can take many forms depending on what excites your players. Storytellers will get most excited about secret lore or ancient knowledge of the world. For power gamers, stick to magic items that will grow their characters in strength. Be in tune with your players' preferences and tailor your rewards accordingly. These lessons will make your next sessions better, but there is another trick that will make them great. You need to use abstract secrets and clues. Learn all about them in this video.